Every day, we're inspired and amazed by the stories we hear from our users of how Tango is changing their daily lives. From Hannah and Dave, who speak to their son in the military using Tango, to Mori, who told us that Tango is actually the only way that he found out that his family was safe in Japan after the recent earthquakes. About 18 months ago, when we started Tango, we made a big bet. We made the bet that phones would come equipped with 2 cameras and that the quality of the network would keep improving. And today, we're really happy we made this bet because over 10 million people in 190 countries have started using Tango to make free video calls wherever they are, on 3G, 4G, and Wi-Fi. Tango is available on the recent iOS products like the iPhone 4, the iPad 2, and a dozen Android smartphones and tablets, actually on most of them. And our vision is ready to offer video calling for people on all their screens. As you know, in startup, it's all about timing. And we think that this is just the beginning. Think about it. In 2013, there'll be 1 billion smartphones. And this year alone, 1 trillion minutes of calling has been made. So why not 5, 10, 15% of those become video calls? It's a huge opportunity. For someone like me that spent the last 10 years working in video compression and streaming technology, it was an amazingly exciting challenge to build a service that would work seamlessly across different types of devices and that would offer crisp video quality even over 3G. This is the second company that my partner and I found together in the video space, and we knew that we need to assemble a team of rockstar engineers to build this type of service. Actually, the problem that we were trying to solve was so difficult that this became an advantage in finding such talent. We're very proud of our team members, like Greg, our VP Engineering, whose previous product, Voodoo, you can find on major TV sets and set-top boxes today. Or Hiroko, our video engineer that came with a backpack full of 12 handsets and who had written software that runs on over 300 million devices. With the combined experience of our technical team, we've managed to create a solution that elegantly addresses the problem of video calling and that will scale up to hundreds of millions of users and stayed ahead of the competition from companies that all of you know, like Apple, Skype, and Google. So what makes Tango different? Tango is the only solution today that allows video calling and that is both cross-platform and cross-network. We've made it really easy to use on your smartphone. There's no login, no password. We look at your phone's address book to tell you who you can video call. We don't drain your battery. We don't use up your minutes. And with such a growing market, there are new phones and devices that are coming to market every week. And at Tango, on average, it takes us just a couple of days to actually release and support these new devices if they don't work out of the box already. So we're very focused on execution and time to market. People ask us how we're going to monetize the service, and to be perfectly honest, in the last 5 months, we've been very busy supporting our free service and growing it to face the tremendous user growth that we've been experiencing. The Tango is available today as a free download on the App Store and the Android Marketplace. And I encourage you to try it out if you haven't already, to share with your friends and family that could not be at South by Southwest this year, the amazing atmosphere of the event. Thank you very much.
All right, so we got 10 minutes. Mark, what are your thoughts right off the bat?
Starting 18 months ago, I saw 5 or 6 players wanting to enter the market to do this. And frankly, you know, launching a service and 6 months later, having 10 million users is mind-boggling. So congratulations, it's phenomenal. I guess my first, I think the use case is already proven. So somebody's going to be big in this category. And the cross-platform thing adds a unique element relative to Apple. I'd like to know what your strategy was. How did you rise above the noise and get to 10 million?
So I think a few things. You definitely point out, you know, that I think the market has been created, and definitely FaceTime going out there in June and educating all the rest of the world that had not thought about this, I think really made our life much easier. For us, we focused on user experience. we time ourselves, and it takes about 15 seconds from the time you download to the time you can place your first video call. And really being able to skip all the details that are not needed in order to first access the product, I think that's really key. Because people understand something that's simple, they understand the phone. And if we can make this just like the phone, this is something that my mom will use. Login and password, it seems simple to all of us, but for mass market, that's unsurmountable difficulty. And so really trimming it down, we think that in this market, less is more. And really focusing on the quality and the user experience and being relentless on that is very important. You speak about the cross-platform, and on iOS, it just looks like the iPhone. On Android, it just looks like your normal phone application on the Android phone. It will be the same for tablets for us. And in everything that we do, we really have the user in mind and try to make it easy for them to use the service very quickly.
Can you speak to which platforms you've had more success? What is the distribution across platforms?
Sure. So we run today on between 50 and 60 devices, and these are smartphones and tablets, so all the major ones. And when we started off, we actually we witnessed a shift in the market. We started off doing 80-20, iOS to Android, much more iPhones than Android. And it's interesting, a lot of people use us with the back camera only. Sometimes, they don't have the advanced phones. I don't know what they do, if they use the mirror, if they flip the camera, but they seem to like it very much. But now we're 50-50 historically. So 50% of our users on iOS, 50% on Android. So we're adding 55% on Android. We definitely see a lot of dynamics in the Android market with all the new great phones and 4G, obviously.
Panel?
So what does it cost you per minute to support these calls?
That's a great question. So believe it or not, but it costs us almost nothing because it's P2P technology. Actually, P2P is one of my areas of expertise. And when you make a Tango call, we support a little bit of infrastructure to make your phone ring. And actually, we do this without using up your battery. So you're not running the phone, the application, but we still manage to make your phone ring with the push notification systems. But after that, actually, the media goes P2P, directly from my phone to your phone. It doesn't go through our servers. And the reason why we do this is obviously cost, but also that's the fastest way on the network. And we only have 250 milliseconds between the time I speak in my phone and the time you hear it. So it's really important for us to traverse that network really quickly. And we've developed over 10 patents in this area in particular how to do P2P over 3G. I think we're the only company in the world that knows how to do that.
Any plans to go many to many?
Excuse me?
Any plans for group calling?
Definitely. So conferencing, adding 3-4 people. I think, again, the user experience is really the defining thing here. So if we can do it in a way that's really easy to understand and, it's not confusing for the user, we'll do it. But right now, we're just iterating to find exactly what is going to be the right concept.
You sort of did gloss over the monetization question, and even if you can't talk about your plan specifically, I'm curious about what you think about the space right now with Gmail offering free calls through the end of the year. Skype has just added advertising, pushed back their IPO, might be having problems there as well. Just curious on your thoughts if you can't share anything specific about what you're planning on.
So we've made the deliberate decision that we're not going to sell minutes. The core service, audio and video calling, that's going to remain free. And it's actually very important because for the consumers, it's about trust with our service. And actually for the carriers, it's non-competitive, and they seem to like that. So we'll introduce later this year a few premium services that actually complement the video calling experience, add a new dimension to it, and these will be monetized. I can't speak about too many details right now, but for example, your phone service is not just about calling. You get lots of other services too. So for us, anything that's going to go beyond just the calling experience, these are things that we're going to monetize, and we're looking for recurring revenue models.
So can you talk a little bit more? I'm downloading the app right now, but I have to admit I haven't tried it. So clearly the user experience is paramount, and that's both a usability thing and then probably also sort of quality of calls, right, compression technology, et cetera. And you've alluded to having a lot of expertise in that area. Given sort of the existing incumbents, you've got Skype with hundreds of millions of users and whatnot, it is a tall order to sort of, establish significant market share against those folks. And really, ultimately the way to do that is through higher quality, better user experience, et cetera, right? I mean, when Google first came out, I didn't believe the world needed another search engine, but, they built a better mousetrap, and ultimately, the quality won out. Maybe just talk a little bit about, dig a little deeper into what the user experience is and how you differentiate and build market share against some of the behemoths.
So I think that the mobile revolution actually opens that game up again, and I think that's very interesting. There are very, very few companies that know how to ride successive technology waves, and I think starting from mobile for us is a huge advantage. When you think about it, it's kind of counterintuitive to do a call on your PC, but the phone is designed for communication, right? You've got all the people that you actually would want to communicate with in your address book. Seems kind of obvious. And when you think about it, if we sum up the address books of all our members, I think we come close to 1 billion users, right? So actually the reach that we have is actually quite big. So definitely, discovering all the people you can video call automatically for you, I think that's a really, really big thing. And, we don't want to present you 100 different things that you could do with video. We want to do calling, and we want to be laser focused on that. We think that, for example, if you're texting while you're doing a video call, that seems very complicated, right? I mean, if you're in a video call, it's a pretty engaging experience already. And it's about communicating with your loved ones. So I don't think you need to send text or send links. It's about seeing your kids, about seeing your parents. It's simple experiences, but very powerful ones.
Can I ask you a question about quality? If I didn't misunderstand, you can do this over 3G, not just Wi-Fi. And I think FaceTime is just Wi-Fi. A, is that correct? And B, can you talk to the voice, the quality of the image?
Yeah, so that's absolutely correct. And that's one of the most difficult things that I think we do. So just so that everybody has a mental depiction of this, I compare the 3G network to a pulsating artery that's going up and down, right? And if ever we send too much video out, we can clog that artery. It's not good for the artery, it's not good for us, it's not good for anybody. So we're always trying to find out how much space we have available on the network, and we can back off very, very quickly. If, for example, you're driving and using Tango, we don't recommend that, but a lot of people do it, so that we can back off and make the stream smaller, in a few hundred milliseconds. And so that's a lot of advanced technology we've developed around that. And people say that it's going to get better with 4G. I don't think that's right. I think people are going to expect higher resolutions, and that these same techniques and same IP is going to continue applying. So I think that's a key differentiator.
It seems to me like I was watching real video in 1998, right? Like it was choppy. So you have 10 million people how much are they using it? Are people using this once and then not using it anymore? Are they using it repeatedly? Like, do you know what those metrics look like in terms of the repetition?
So about half our members actually place calls regularly in the last 30 days, place and receive calls. And so I think that's a very strong metric. And the rate of repeats is actually astounding. And again, right, think about it. Video calling is very intimate. So this is something you're going to do with the people you call the most. Your wife, your husband, your kids, your parents, your siblings, or the close friends. And so I think that's one of the reasons why we see the engagement. One of the things that was very touching for us is we were just looking at different numbers, and last week we looked at the calls that happened in Japan. And for us, it's about carrying the most meaningful conversation. The day of the earthquake, we saw this massive spike in the calls in Japan and also in the calls coming into Japan, leaving Japan. And when you think about that, right, there's a higher mission there of actually supporting these people, making sure they're safe, and connecting them back with their loved ones.
And doing it within 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Nice job.